I'm okay with tackle at 6,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a team out there that's hell bent on trading up for Travis. And when I sent that link to Diane Rossini's joining the Athletic today, and it was like the Giants and somebody, I mean, us and Jacksonville trying to get up to 2 or trying to trade up. So it's like she plugged in, she know what's going on. So man, you don't know what to believe. So this is all smoke, but I'm ready whenever you're
All right. It's a great day, sports world. What's up to all the sports lovers, the haters, the addicts, and the fanatics? This is Larry Patterson for GT365. It's Game Time 365 Sports right here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. Big episode today. A lot to unpack here. Um, got the mock draft tomorrow night. Got my man Amon Washington here, my sidekick here. How you doing, man? You ready for to tackle this thing, man?
yeah, man, I'm excited, man. Interesting to see what how all 32 of these picks shake out between me and you, man. So yeah, let's get it, man. We got less than what 24 hours, maybe a little more than 24 hours before showtime.
Boy, I mean, it takes so long to get here, but it's like when you get here, it speeds by so fast.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
Christmas.
yeah. So before we get to the draft, we got to discuss NBA playoffs a little bit. We ain't gonna jump too much into it, but give the people a rundown of what's been happening with the playoffs and stuff. Starting with the first seed in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're up 1-0 against Miami. They got game 2 tonight. They won their game on Sunday. The 2 seed Boston is up 1-0 against Orlando. Their game 2 is tonight. Actually, is in probably about an hour or so. Um, the 3 seed, the Knicks in Detroit, um, 1-1 tied, and I'm kind of scared. Being a Knicks fan, they go to Detroit for 2 games, and I know that crowd is going to be electric. They haven't had a playoff game in there for years, and you know that building is going to be
Mm.
on fire. Especially with the way that Detroit's playing right now. Um, out rebounding the Knicks 85-70 in both games. So uh, they seem like they out physical in us. They just doing everything, man. Um, and then you had Milwaukee and Indiana. Indiana up 2-0, winning their game 2 last night. Heading to the West, we got OKC leading Memphis 2-0. Of course, we knew that would happen. We think game 2 was a little bit more competitive than the first one. Then you got Golden State leading Houston 1-0. Um, the Clippers and Denver have had 2 good games. Two good games to start the series out. I think it was overtime the first one, and then Kawhi bust for like 30 plus. What was it, last night or the night before?
Yeah, night
And
before.
then and then you got Minnesota and the Lakers tied at 1-1 right now. That is your picture for the playoffs right now. Anything you want to add, brother?
Yeah, man. Just like I told you off air, man. Detroit, man. Like it's gonna be kind of wild, man, when they get back to Detroit and they had that first game since who can remember, man. That thing gonna jump like the Malice in the Palace back in was
Oh
it 03? Oh, it's gonna be crazy, man. I mean, but you know, the city of Detroit, man, much as they've been a laughing stock of the league for the last 5+ years, man. It's good to see, different teams, stepping up and making a playoff push. Detroit, the Pacers, they've been there before. Um, who else always new teams? OKC, the Minnesotas, they done been there. So it's good to see some fresh bodies, not the same old, same old. You still gonna have your mainstays, the Lakers, Bucks, Nuggets, but it's good to see different faces, different athletes that, in small markets that, the national audience don't get to see on a daily basis. And now you're getting to their all stars and what the people locally see in their market. So yeah, the Magic, yeah, man, I'm just excited. Yeah, Houston. If
Yeah,
they the
you know it's a big market, but Houston hasn't been in the playoff picture for quite some time. It's good to see them in like the Magic that you just said. They had a tremendous series with Cleveland last year. Went all the way to 7 games.
yeah,
So good to see them in the playoffs for a second straight year. Um, but we haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes of the situation of the playoffs yet, and we'll see what happens. Ready to tackle this thing, man?
yeah. Let's go, man. That's
Man,
what everybody want to see, man. Let's get it.
let's get right into it, man. So we got the NFL draft tomorrow night. It's been a while. It took a while to get here, but damn it, we are here, and we are here to show you our mock draft 1.0 first annual, the very first mock draft of the Game Time Sports Network. Amon assisting. He did. We come up with a little strategy. So you did the even numbers. No, you did the odd numbers because your team picked 6, and I did the even numbers. So this is a collaboration of picks, and he put his in, I put mine in, and we came up with the best that we could. So starting at number 1, we got Tennessee Titans. Oh, I gotta do something real quick. I gotta put my sound on real quick. I think I know you know what sound I'm talking about.
Yep.
There we go. For the first pick, you got Cam Ward going to Tennessee. That's a no brainer right there. Tennessee getting that quarterback that they need. Um, what you feel about this pick?
Man, I think this pick has been in the barn probably since before the combine. I believe, like once the new ownership came in and new GM came in, it was clearly and obvious what the Titans was missing, what they needed to upgrade. Sure, they have some more holes on their roster. They can use wide receivers because Traylon Burks ain't it. Harold Landry, he's gone there. He's in New England, but with just as good as I know, as well. If you don't have that signal caller back there, then you don't have a chance. So this was the only decision and the only right decision I think the Titans could have made, in my opinion, because you never know when you're going to be back up here again. So you got to take your quarterback while you're in this position, because it's too many variables going in year to year to say you're going to be back in the top 5 next year. So number 1, I selected Kim Ward, quarterback out of Miami for the Tennessee Titans.
All right, that's a good pick right there, and that's a pick that, like I said, everybody expected it. Brian Callahan going into his second year as the head coach, he's going to want his own guy, and I think that's the guy for him right there. Put him in a good position. Did you see what Cam said about his favorite receivers?
Yeah, I did see that. He said, "Oh, what did he say? Some Calvin Ridley is better than
Really,
Dave Brown. Man, over Fortnite, bro. Like it's just it's just goes to show you how far things have changed, bro. Like social media, these kids are, man, they playing these games. They mingling with the fans out here, and they gonna state their opinion. They gonna let how they feel, and that right there was an indicator of, okay, yeah, he knew where he was going a long time ago. It's just a formality now of Roger Goodell doing a little presentation tomorrow night.
all right, and you ready to go ahead and jump to pick number 2?
Yes, sir.
I had pick number 2, and with the second pick, the Cleveland, I'm about to say the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Cleveland Browns select Travis Hunter, wide receiver cornerback out of Colorado. Cleveland is another team that they can pretty much go anywhere in the draft. And I felt like, for them to get Travis Hunter, this puts them in a position where, okay, you have on the wide receiver side, the only reliable receiver you have over there is Jerry Jeudy. And on the defensive side of the ball, you have Denzel Ward on that side. So I remember Prime said not too long ago that you have Travis playing wide receiver, and then say you have your corners getting beat on the other side. Now you got Travis that can do that as well. So I think this is a good pick for him. You still got to figure out the quarterback position. Deshaun Watson is still there, but he may not play this year. Then you add Joe Flacco in free agency, and then you traded for Kenny Pickett. But those guys, as we would like to say, they're not going to put asses in seats. Excuse my language, but I think this right here is able to put some butts in seats right here. So I'm going with Travis Hunter.
I'm gonna step in right here with this Travis Hunter pick. I agree that Travis Hunter is the pick in our mock draft. With this mock draft right here, we didn't do any trades. We just went straight 1 through 32, which is, we know draft night you're going to get somebody do some willing to deal and then coming back. But don't be surprised if the Browns are not picking at 2 tomorrow.
Oh
Don't be surprised if you see Jacksonville, Vegas at 6, Dallas at 12. Shoot, coming up, being aggressive, want to get that playmaker. I can definitely see that. And another caveat with this pick, and I read this somewhere a couple days ago, and I didn't share this with you, but I'm sharing it with you now, about Travis Hunter and him wanting to play two sides of the ball. We always had a conversation. If you lose him, he get hurt. That's two positions you have to fill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I read this. Was it Sunday, I believe? If a team that said Cleveland picks him, which you can't fault Cleveland for picking him. I would if I was the Raiders. If we were to, we'll pick him. But think about this in this perspective. You have to sit down with Travis and have a conversation with him and his agent, and be like, "Hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play you primary receiver, and we'll give you some packages at cornerback, or either vice versa. You know what I mean? Have a plan for him. But if he wants to do full time both sides, I don't see why he can't. But it's almost the equivalent. If he do that, it's almost the equivalent of him playing 2 seasons in one, because you got to play X amount of snaps on the offensive side of the ball, and you got to play X amount of snaps on the defensive side of the ball. That's 2 seasons. You see one side of the ball, cornerback, man, wide receiver, man, one shot, you're done, and you can bail it, stay 16, 17, 18 games for one season. Imagine doing both sides of the ball, and that's 2 seasons worth of ball he's playing jammed into 1 year. So that's another dynamic that I read the other day that makes all the sense in the world. So, but yeah, with this Cleveland pick, I know we stand on a little while than we should be, but I do feel like there could be some movement right here. But ultimately, if Joe Barry do the right thing, Travis Hunter should be the pick for them at number 2.
Definitely, and say if their team goes to the playoffs, and that's more snaps, so that's more workload too. So it's not. I don't care what anybody says for a whole career. Like, he may start this in his first career, and maybe some time in his second season. But he's not going to do this for his whole career. It's
I don't think
impossible.
you can sustain it for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. It's some point your body. Father Time is always undefeated, man. Your body's going to dictate, hey, slow down, young fella. You only get you only one spot on the roster. You'll try to be Superman.
Exactly. For the third pick, and that was me. we got defensive end Abdul Carter going to the Giants from Penn State. I think this is an excellent pick. I mean, this is another position where the Giants could be trading back as well. You had Kayvon Thibodeau being rumored to being traded. So Kayvon Thibodeau going out, and then you bringing this specimen in here. I like Abdul Carter. You know, the way he can help out in the run game, his bend, the way he can bend that corner. I love Abdul Carter. I wish we was picking up there because he would definitely help our team out. But for a pick like this, let's just say that it does happen. That New York Giants defensive line, you already have Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence over there. And then when you add Abdul Carter, it's just adding more fuel to the fire. So that New York Giant defensive line is always kind of like top 5, top 10, top 5. Granted, you have the other pieces on the defense that don't work well together, but that unit up front is a monster. So with him added there, I feel like that's a great addition.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel the same way. I'm always gonna play devil's advocate here with these picks here. It's a no-brainer. You take them. BPA. If you're not comfortable taking Shador at 3, Jackson Dart at 3, which I don't see, but stranger things happen. Hey, we took a kicker in the first round 25 years ago. You done seen some wild stuff happen. So I mean, yeah, Carter, he come in, he'll be a day one starter, instant impact. You got to chase him around. Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, and Dak Prescott. You got to get them on the ground 6 games a year. So it makes all the sense in the world. But I wouldn't be, I can see quarterback here as well, only because pressure of the organization right now. Everybody has their eyeballs on the Giants, like because the draft can pivot from right here. They take Shador right here. Everybody's scrambling because nobody's going to expect Abdul to be there 4 for New England, Jacksonville, us. Somebody might want to come up. So, it could be some movement, but I agree with you. I think Abdul Carter is the pick here and BPA.
And either one of those next 3 teams, the Patriots, the Jaguars, the Raiders, could be in contention for him. I mean, think about it. The Raiders can get him you already got Max over there. The Jaguar. Well, I mean, they got a unit over there already, but they can also add to that too. And then the Patriots, the Patriots always had that defensive philosophy. So, we good with that? Yeah, I think we're good with that. With the 4th pick in the mock draft 2025. We got offensive tackle Will Campbell out of LSU. This was your pick going to the Patriots. What you think about that?
Man, this was your pick. You picking. You got either.
Oh, I did. Yeah. My bad.
How you feel about it?
I feel like this with Will Campbell adding there, like it gives them a security blanket for your new quarterback. They could go weapons, but adding the structure up front, it definitely helps out. He's a force in LSU, and he's just so mature. That's one of the things I like about Will Campbell. He's so mature, and you want a mature offensive line coming in the league, and it could definitely pay off in the long run for Drake May.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. You want to protect Drake May more than anything. That's the epicenter of the franchise. Drake May, making sure he upright, and I can see them. Will Campbell. That's a smart pick. I can see them going Armand Membu here, but your pick with Will Campbell at number 4, I would not be upset about it.
Yeah, absolutely. They still have like Cole Strange and those guys over there, so they can definitely keep building on that. Now with the 5th pick, we're gonna go to Jacksonville, and let's see who Jacksonville is picking. Tataroa McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona.
Yeah.
I actually like this pick right here, and that gives Trevor Lawrence an extra weapon and a good complementary piece to Brian Robinson. I mean,
Brian
not
Thomas.
Brian Robinson, Brian Thomas, who had a great rookie campaign. What you think about this pick?
I don't. This pick for me when I was making this selection, it's I look at Liam Cohen, what he did in Tampa last year. Mike Evans, Bucky, K. Otten, I believe the tight end, Baker Mayfield. He got Baker Mayfield. He got him paid. Got that man a $100 million contract. And how did he do that? He had weapons around him. He had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cade Otten. You had, Tristan Wirfs on the line. You had Bucky Irvin in the backfield. You had Rashad White. So you had weapons around. You had weapons around Baker Mayfield, and I think that's the same thing he's trying to replicate with Jacksonville is support Trevor Lawrence. You have to justify giving Trevor Lawrence his $275 million contract. So go and get him a big play, wide receiver on the outside. Yes, he's not the sexy pick. Everybody wants him to go Ashton Jeanty. That's the hottest rumor right now. Ashton Jeanty going here, which I can see. But give Brian Thomas a running mate, man. Have the AFC South have him on notice, man. Like you're not drafting Ted McMillan to be a field stretcher. He's there to do the intermediate and short stuff. He could go up and get the jump ball. He's got a great volleyball background, so he can do that for you. But I just feel like this is the direction I see them going. We're going to, like I said, support Trevor Lawrence and let's maximize him while we can. That's the AFC South is wide open for everybody. So get them weapons.
Exactly. Not just the AFC, but the AFC, not just the AFC South, but the AFC in general. Like, once you play them teams in the playoffs, you're gonna need as much weapons as you can get. And then with Gabe Davis on the other side, it's like, man, you're gonna need a little something more than that. The Jags could also be a team that can go after Tyler Warren, one of, I guess, the best tight end in this draft. So they definitely need that with Evan Ingram walking out, going to Denver. So that could be a choice for them too. But Tataroa McMillan is an awesome choice right there. I think that is the pick that they will go to. Let's go to pick number 6.
Yeah, so you better make the right pick too, because I did not want to pick for my team. Don't you say nothing crazy up here.
So I did have the Raiders picking Tyler Shuck at first. But on a serious note, with the 6th pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. And he had I think he had like 2,400 yards. Like he was
26, I believe.
He was basically leading the country in rushing yards. Like, I mean, he doesn't get any better than this kid right here, man. And for the Raiders to get this guy, the Raiders haven't had an effective run game in a while since Josh Jacobs was there. So you think about it, for the past couple seasons, they was always either in the middle of the pack or like last year, dead last in the league in rushing. I think when you add a running back like Jeanty, you see things that he can do. It's definitely a needle mover to your offense, to your team in general. You got a new head coach in Pete Carroll who knows about run game, knows about defense. So I think this is an excellent pick for the Raiders. What you feel about this?
I mean, I wouldn't be upset, about I wouldn't be upset about the Jeanty pick. I'd be happy we get Jeanty, but me knowing my franchise, knowing Spatek coming in, he has a Eagles background, Broncos background. I can definitely see offensive line here. I can see Membu. I can see, Membu, Banks. I can see that, from what all reports that we've been reading today, that offensive tackles are going to go early. I can see Banks. I can see Membu. I can see Jalen Walker. I can see Mason Graham trenches. Like I was saying, Spatek has that Philadelphia ties. Where's Philadelphia great at? That front seven. So I can definitely see front seven, and they got one of the best front sevens and one of the best offensive lines in the game. Probably top five in each category, top three, depending on who you ask. So I can definitely see us going offensive line. I wouldn't hate the Genty pick. I understand the Genty pick, but I wouldn't be upset at Mimble either. But hey, you selecting Genty for us. Hey, that's somebody that can put the ball in the paint. It's just it's the offensive line. It's no point in having a Ferrari if you don't have the offensive line to support the Ferrari. So, but yeah, man. All in all, I appreciate the Genty pick.
Yeah, and if the Raiders just so happen to win a Super Bowl one day, let's just say if, it's a long if, I need the ring for the Genty pick. Let's go ahead and get that started. Going in,
I said the check will be in the mail. I promise.
Going at the number 7 pick. This is your pick. The New York Jets select Armand Mimbo, offensive tackle out of Missouri. And why did you choose to go to this pick?
Once again, man, trenches, man. Like Aaron Glenn coming in, first time head coach. He just left Detroit. Who did they have as all-pro tackle? They had Penei Sewell. So I was like, you know what? If we're going to keep support Justin Fields with Garrett Wilson, Braylon Allen, those weapons that he do have, Allen Lazard. Yeah, they don't have Adams no more. Let's give him some protection. Let's take BPA. Let's get him some protection and give Justin the best chance to succeed. And then, like I said, I don't want to use the word safe pick or can't miss pick, but he's probably one of those guys that you draft at nighttime as a GM, and you know that you'll sleep well come Thursday night. You draft that night Thursday night, you're gonna sleep well tomorrow night going into Friday morning. That we got a good solid football player he's explosive. He's gonna show up. He's a grader. He's gonna protect you. So yeah, that's why I went with Mimbu right there for my pick with the Jets.
And I feel with Justin Fields coming in, he's going to need a lot of support. He's been through 2 franchises. With the Steelers last year, let's just face it, like the offensive line wasn't, they made do with what they had. So, and then when he was with the Bears, I mean, that was just a terrible situation for him as far as offensive line protecting him. Now you got a new regime, got a new head coach. Let's see what Justin Fields can do with the new addition of offensive tackle here. Going to the number 8 pick here. The Carolina Panthers select linebacker Jalen Walker from Georgia. And if you see their roster now, they did pick up Tershawn Wharton. If you look at the linebacking core, like Christian Roseboom, Josie Jewell, who's okay, Jadeveon Clowney, like you need to upgrade that linebacker room. And I think somebody explosive as Jalen Walker, I think he would be a great addition to this Carolina Panthers team who improved last year. Let's face it, like we thought they was going to be in the running for a quarterback. But I think Bryce has found his stride, and what better way to help him than on the defensive side of the ball. And I think somebody like Jalen Walker has got a high motor. I think he can really help him out and put that franchise in the right direction.
Yes, he will. And don't be surprised if he's not here at 8 tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
Don't be surprised if Aaron Glenn might snap him up. Vegas might snap him up. Depends on how the board shakes out. But I like this pick with for you with the Panthers. They got Dag Brown in the middle. They got Trayvon Merrick that came over for us. They gave him 3 years, 51 million. Gave him a new contract. They gave J.C. Horn $100 million. I know we feel totally different about that. I know how you feel about the J.C. contract.
Crazy.
So yeah, man, they got. I mean, Derek Brown, Trayvon Merrick, J.C. Horn, and potentially Jalen Walker to be like your core on defense under the age of 25. That ain't nothing to sniff at. That ain't
Right.
nothing. That ain't nothing to sniff at. So I definitely feel like the Panthers, with this pick right here, you definitely will get a leader. Somebody who's gonna been there and won that on the big stage, got a couple national championships on his belt. He jumps off the screen. When you watch Georgia play, he's like a little Tasmanian devil. You like who's number 11, especially doing it in that Texas game this last year that they played. I think it was an ABC game, Sunday night, Saturday night game,
Mhm.
and he just
He was
killed.
everywhere, bro.
You couldn't do nothing. You couldn't block him. He was coming off, listen from the slot, coming off the edge, playing off ball. He was just everywhere. And I think the Panthers need a tone setter like that back in their building. You know, they had great linebackers in the past. They've had Thomas Davis. They had Luke Kuechly, and Jalen Walker. He'll be the next person in, next best linebacker in line for them to have in their organization. So a great pick, man. I like the pick from.
Exactly. And somebody to play besides Shaq Thompson. I think Shaq Thompson was probably injured a good portion of last year. So you get him back, and we'll see where that falls. Going to the number 9 pick. This is your pick, and I was kind of questioning this pick, but I can see the vision. I can see where you're going with this. So with the 9th pick in the 2025 mock draft, the New Orleans Saints select defensive end Michael Williams from Georgia. There's 2 Georgia picks back to back. Why did you choose to go this way?
No, all right. So here's my rationale with this Michael Williams pick. He has top 10, top 5 stuff. He had some of his best ball wasn't last year. He was hurt. He had been dealing with an ankle injury all year. But the way he defended against the run is outstanding. He's a great run defender. Now, I'm not going to say great. He's a good run defender right now. With a little bit of NFL coaching, he's going to show up that part of his game. And he doesn't have a pass rush move, a way to win yet. But when you look at him on tape, if I'm a coach, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can work with that. Give me the 6'5", 6'6" long lines for arms, a prototypical 4-3 DN. And so with Mickey Loomis, you don't know what he may do. He may go quarterback here. He may go whatever here. So I went with traits here. And also, Cam Jordan, he's 35, 36. He's, at the end of his career. He's not going to be there forever. So what way to usher in a new wave of pass rush, a new wave of Saints football is to have Michael Williams study behind Cam Jordan how to be a pro, learn some stuff from him, and then 2026 he just take over. Oh, and let's not forget, they still got the number 2 overall pick from 2019 side of the ball, and Chase Young, he just got re-up there as well. So, Chase Young can give you half of what he had in 2019, and you got a fresh Michael Williams on the other side. You have 2 bookend pass rushers for the next 5 to 8 years, in the NFC South. So that was my logic behind the Michael Williams pick at number 9 for the New Orleans Saints.
I like it. It's different because a lot of people think the Saints are going to go the quarterback route, and they can literally go a number of different places as well. Reason, why I say quarterback, because Kellen Moore's coming in. He's going to run his own quarterback. And like I told you earlier, like Spencer Rattler is not going to get a franchise excited because they saw that last year. So if a Shador Sanders is there at 9, or if a Jackson Dart is there at 9, I think that gives the fan base hope. But making picks like this also builds. So, like, a year or 2 later, it also builds, and you can see it, especially if the play is effective and solid. you look back and say, okay, they spent the ninth pick on this guy. He's leading the team and that may not be leading the team in sacks, but he's very effective the way he can rush inside. He can
Right.
develop defending the run. The
Right.
types of stuff like that.
Yeah, right. I agree with you that 100%. But like you said a few minutes ago, everybody wants the Shador Sanders or the Jackson Darts. But do you have those two graded higher than Michael Williams? If we're really being honest, you know what I mean. Like, do you have a top 10 grade on Shador or Jackson Dart? If you do, pull a trigger. You know what I mean. I can't be upset at you, but everybody know the league circles. Everybody run with the same people. Everybody talk. You know what I mean? Hey, so everybody probably has a top 10, 15 grade on Michael Williams. So I think it's upside there. It's risky as well. Don't get me wrong, but it's boom or bust with each of these 250 some players. Everyone has risk, but I just look at the direction of the franchise and their roster right now, and what can they use? They can use an upgrade everywhere, to be honest with you. But taking a high variant, taking a high explosive player as Michael Williams makes all the sense in the world to me. I know the fan base, they want quick, fast to answer at quarterback, but sometimes the slow burning teams are the ones that normally end up coming out on top. Just keep stacking draft classes, and that's how you end up being in the playoffs and playing in January. Yeah, Michael Williams might not be the sexy pick at 9, but I can definitely see this happening tomorrow night for sure.
Definitely. I like it. With the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft, the Chicago Bears select tight end Tyler Warren, Penn State. I'm telling you right now, Penn State. I'm telling you right now, the Bears could be a playoff team, and when you add this kid to the fold, he can do some of the same things that he did in college. You already have the weapons that you have over there with DJ Moore, and then with Roman Dunze, Cole Kmet, more of a run blocking tight end, more of the dirty work. But when you have this guy, oh man, I'm telling you, Chicago could be a playoff team. And especially if Ben Johnson can get that offense right, they have Caleb playing way better than what he was last year. I'm very confident in what Chicago is doing and what they could do tomorrow night.
Yeah, man, I'm there with you, man. I like this pick. Me personally, on the other hand, hey, I could see them going with Colston Loveland. I like him just a little bit over Tyler Warren, but hey, you won't see me complain if either one of those guys go at 10 tomorrow with Chicago. And I think the Bears have the potential to make the playoffs. I'm not going to say they're going to make the playoffs, but definitely this year, this draft, I feel like for the moves that the Bears made in the offseason, this is, hey, let's support Caleb. Let's get him all the weapons that he can possibly have. Everything should be at his disposal. DJ Moore, Tyler Warren, Cole Kmet, Swift. Let's support him. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I like this pick. Don't be surprised if, we're trying to fit all 32 picks in the top 10, but I can definitely see Tyler Warren coming off the board, like we talked about earlier, at number 5 at Jacksonville, number 7 to the Jets. And if that's the case, I can see, Chicago definitely taking Colston Loveland as well. But I know one team picking at number 14 is real happy that you picked Tyler Warren right here at number 10. So, but we'll get to that down the road here in a few minutes.
Right, and don't forget, like Chicago, they weren't like they were shaky in the first part of the season, but it felt like they had potential. You felt kind of decent. I'm gonna say decent. You felt decent. I ain't gonna say good, but I think this one could do some things. Going to the number 11 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select cornerback Will Johnson out of Michigan. He was pretty much hurt good portion of last year. I liked it. I like it. I like this pick because draft is all about future as well, and what this guy can do once he gets himself healthy. I feel like he can do some great things on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. I like Will Johnson, man. Yeah, he did. Yeah, his draft process was a little underwhelming, but what you see on tape, what you seen in 2023 was this is this dude the next coming of Pat Surtain. That's the name that was floating around for Will Johnson. Hey, this is Pat Surtain 2.0 or whatever, however you want to do it. So I mean, he has that bar that he can reach that Pat Surtain level. Yeah, some people question the 40 speed, but can't everybody run a 4.2, 4.3, 4.4? But he takes the ball away. He sees it. He can play him. He's more of a zone corner in my opinion, but he has the capabilities of playing some man as well. But I think with San Francisco, no, they got too much money tied up in it, and they top heavy, and they got to start, shedding some of their salary, and they got a balloon payment coming up, at 60 million a year. So Kittle want a new deal. I'm sure Purdy want a new deal. So I mean, you got to start getting defense, replenish that defense. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I went with Will Johnson, but I could definitely see them going offensive tackle here as well. But I settled on Will Johnson for 49ers fans.
And they are a team that's loaded. Like I think they have 11 picks this year, 10 or 11 picks this year, and then next year with all the guys leaving like Hufunga and Dre Greenlaw and the other free agents that left, Jordan Mason, like they get comp picks for those guys, so they're gonna be loaded even next year. So I mean, this could be a situation where George Kittle, hey, love you, but see you later.
Yeah, or they could be a trade up candidate with 11 picks this year. Going up there, and if you see somebody that you identify, hey, what it's gonna take? Because I got comp picks coming next year. I can dig into next year's bag if I need to.
So, exactly. What if they moved up and picked Ashton Jeanty? Oh man, I don't see that happening. But with the injury history with Christian McCaffrey, and going into another year, he's getting older.
I mean, hey, anything's possible, man. We've seen teams come up from the 20s into the top 10 and pick people, man. So hey, man, anything's possible. Y'all might come up, but y'all might come up and do something. Who knows? So we'll see when we get to 20.
I hope not. I hope I hope not. I want to stockpile the picks.
Absolutely.
And the next team that we're going to get into at number 12. The number 12 pick is the Dallas Cowboys. And who are the Dallas Cowboys picking in the 2025 NFL Draft? I got the Cowboys going defensive tackle Mason Graham from Michigan. I know some people will probably look at that and frown upon it, but if you really look at it, yeah, you signed Osa Digizuwa to a new deal. Well, you got Mozzie Smith, who let's just face it. I thought Mozzie Smith was going to be a little better, and I have to get a Cowboys guy on here to talk more about the Cowboys because you can't keep up with everybody. So, but I think this is with this pick with Mason Graham. You look at it, look at their depth, like Mozzie Smith, Solomon Thomas, who they signed, Ernest Brown. What's going to hurt picking another good defensive tackle to bolster that unit up?
Absolutely.
So I went with them.
Yep, and I see your vision, and let me tell you, ain't none of them players gonna stop me from drafting Mason Graham. at 12 overall. So I'm with you on there. But also, like I said, I could also see the Cowboys going. We're going wide receiver here, Matthew Golden. Tet if he's still available, but we Tet went a couple picks ago. But yeah, man, BPA for Cowboys here, and makes ground. He'll fit that star, and he'll fit in like a glove. He's a Michigan guy anyway, so all Michigan guys they do well wherever they go. Anyway, I'm just biased. So yeah, man, I like to pick for the Cowboys and Mason Graham.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, like you said, they could go in a couple of different directions, but I think this is a good pick. You can't go wrong with this pick right here.
Yeah.
So going at where we at number 13, going with the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins select offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas, with what's my guy's name? Teron Armstead. Teron Armstead retiring in the offseason. I think this is a good plug in right here for a position that's needed on that side. What you think?
Yeah, man, it's definitely a need, man. Armstead retiring, that definitely was a blow to the line, and they didn't have the greatest offensive lines anyway. So my thinking here was, hey, let's get somebody that come in and be a day one starter, on the left side to protect Tua. Um, he's OT3 for me, so just right where I can see him coming off the board. Um, and I also thought about a corner here as well. What you losing Jalen Ramsey. You lost some of your secondary. Jalen Ramsey, he's probably get traded tomorrow night. Javon Holland, he's in New York, man. So you might can go secondary here as well. Malachi Starks wouldn't be a bad option. Jade Barron wouldn't be a bad option here. But ultimately, like I said, I settled on Banks. I can see him going higher than this. And another thing, man, as the theme of the first round between with our picks, these offensive tackles, man, they're going. They're going to go tomorrow. People going. Some teams are going to be mad at their fan base for taking offensive tackles, man. But it's such a premium position right now. You don't see offensive tackles on the block. You see wide receivers. You see cornerbacks on the block. Barely see linebackers, but you don't see tackles being traded from. You don't see that. So if you take one, that lets you know, hey man, you're gonna be a cornerstone of my franchise, and hopefully we can pan out for us down the road. So offensive tackles, man, they're valuable, man. The national media might say one thing, but the league will tell the story tomorrow night. You're gonna see how many come off the board in the top 15. You'll probably be like, wow.
And for the college has had a problem with developing those tackles anyway, and in the NFL it'll take them on, and hopefully one of those guys get good coaching in, find the right coach, and it's like, hey, but I mean, as if you're a GM or a head coach, like you can't like not take a chance on that because. Right. You're gonna need it. It's either swing or miss. If one don't work out, hey, you got to keep on going.
Absolutely.
So I like the pick though, for the Dolphins to get Teron Armstead's potential replacement there, get some more replacement for Tua. That's another team, like you said, they could have went other places, but starting up front is always a good thing. So, going into number 14. The Indianapolis Colts select tight end Colston Loveland from Michigan. And with a roster that currently has, hear me out now, Drew Ogletree, Will Mallory, who was drafted a couple years ago, Mo Alley Cox, who's he's a vet, Jelani Woods. I think you need a tight end like Colston Loveland who's going to move them needles for you, man. I like the pick for the Colts, and I think this is the direction that they're going. And with maybe Anthony Richardson can turn his career around. We'll see what happens, man. But I like the pick here with the Colts for the Colts with Colson Loveland.
Yeah, man. I like the pick too, man. Like this is one thing that the Colts been. They ain't had this since they haven't had a tight end since Dallas Clark, and we all know how valuable Dallas
Man,
Clark was to Peyton Manning. You know, on his run, he was he was him. You know, and I think that's what Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, whoever your starter week one, they need a security blanket. You know, you know, in line. He's not a good a great blocker, but he's respectable. He reminds me of he can do what Bowers can do with the wider radius. Like his catch radius is crazy.
mhm.
So I can see him in that Brock Bowers kind of mode. I don't know if he's gonna have the years Brock Bowers did last year, statistical wise, but he's gonna have an impact um, on the stat sheet and when the ball's not coming to him because he's going to take the middle of the field. He's going to make the middle of the field more respectable now for the Colts and give the defense something to look forward to on Sundays. You can flex him out as as a slot in the slot. He can be a big slot for you. He runs routes like a wide receiver. I was one package of him and he did a whip route to the back to the inside. And I was like, who wide receivers there from Michigan? And I looked at him and I'm like,
Hold
they
tight
never,
end right there.
they never had that. Like I say, he's our national champion. He balled out. So yeah, man, I do like to pick for. That's the most chalkiest pick, but it's the right pick if that makes sense for the Indianapolis Colts.
And with let's face it, like with Anthony Richardson, whether Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, I mean, I know that quarterback room ain't but so sexy. But, I mean, let's face it, with Anthony Richardson going into a third year, there's still potential there. But your tight end can be a quarterback's best friend.
Absolutely.
And so I definitely like that right there.
Yeah.
Going to number 15. We sweeping through this thing, ain't it?
Yeah, we halfway. Well, not well, we're almost halfway there. My math a little off, but we getting there. We close. We close.
So with the number 15 pick, the I'm about to say Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Falcons are on the clock, and they are picking defensive end Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M. I
All
actually
right.
like this.
Yes.
Go
So
ahead.
with this pick right here, when we was talking, I was like, man, what should the Falcons do? And I thought about, I was like, man, we're not doing no trades or anything like that. So let's be picking. I could have went two places, man. I could have went corner or I could have went pass rusher. Obviously, I went pass rusher, and I was like, who could I put there, man? Like, who can I put there? Who can come up and shot the first half of this first round? And I went with Shamar Stewart, and 6'6", 6'7". I think his testing was like a 9.99, 9.96 or whatever the case may be. He was like in the 98th percentile of everything that he tested on. And I'm like, Falcons haven't had this since who? They haven't had no pass. So,
Right.
So this definitely was a pick that I struggled with, but I was like, they need some type of impact player on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, he didn't have the production in college. We all know 4.5 sacks through 3 years, 4 years of college, but he's a freak. His pressure rate is bananas. And that's ultimately what you want to do. You want to affect the quarterback. Yes, it's nice to get to the quarterback, but you want to, rattle that quarterback's cage a little bit. And with Shamar Stewart coming off the edge, with that, explosive that he has, that speed to power. This like a this,
Too.
yeah, it's like this could be like a boom or bust pick, for Atlanta. Because if you strike gold with this one and this pans out, you got your pass rusher for the next 7-8 years that you can win ball games with, to close out games with.
And I like it. Well, I like him going to Atlanta with Raheem Morris, who is a great defensive coordinator. I mean, well, he's a head coach now, but he coached defensive side of the ball. He's won a championship. So, you know, working with guys like Aaron Donald, I know those guys already had that talent before he got there, Von Miller. But just to have him there and have Shamar Stewart there, like you said, the production in college wasn't all that great, but the traits, GMs, that scouts, they're looking at the traits and what the potential is that he can do. As long as you got great coaching around him, see what the future may hold.
Yes,
The
sir.
Falcons been needing pass rush since forever. They traded for Matt Judon last year and got nowhere. And it seemed like every year in the past drafts, they've been going after pass rush. It just hasn't been panning out. So I think with this one, we'll see who they pick first of all. But if this is the pick, we'll see how it goes and see if he can be coached up right. So, going with we're going with the 16th pick. The Arizona Cardinals are on the clock, and they are picking cornerback Johnny Barron out of Texas. I love this pick. I love this pick for them. Johnny, we talk all the time, so you know how I feel about Johnny Barron. He's got size. He's got the experience. He's played in high level games. And then when you have cornerback room with Sean Murphy Bunting, I know he's played in some high level games himself.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, you got Jalen Jones, Keitrell Clark. On the other side, Starlin Thomas, Max Melton, who was drafted, I think, last year. Like, those guys are not stopping me from taking Jahdae Barron, like one of the best cornerbacks in this draft. So I decided to go with this pick right here, and especially in a division like with the Rams are getting better. They got Puka and they got Devontae. And then, the 49ers, I mean, they still, lost Debo, but they still have Brandon Ayuk. They still got some weapons over there. And then with Seattle as well. Like, you're going to need that guy, the guy like Jahdae Barron and his traits. You're going to need that on that defense like that. I feel like this team is growing. Like, they weren't one of the teams that a lot of people were looking at last year. And then, I mean, they were solid. They played pretty well. Still some growing to do, but I think this is a good pick for them right there. Going at number 17?
Mm-hmm.
Seattle Seahawks. No, not Seattle. The Bengals are on the clock. And the Bengals are selecting defensive end Mike Green. So that's two defensive ends. Shamar Stewart at 15, Jahdae Barron 16. Now 17, you got Mike Green. I like this pick right here because you don't have they still do have Trey Hendrickson, but who knows where they're going with that. So
Right.
what you like about this pick?
Man, they need defense in the worst way. They should this whole draft to be straight defense. Like, help Joe Burrow and them boys, help the Ferrari out on the other side of the ball. Like you said, man, they got Trey Hendrickson, but we know that's a contract thing going on. He could be dealt tomorrow as well. So why don't we just go ahead and, if we're gonna deal him or give him his money, let's just pair him up with somebody if we're gonna keep him and just get somebody opposite of him. Because Miles Murphy, he came out 2023. He hasn't worked out, at all yet. So yeah, man, Mike Green came on, started at UVA, transferred to Marshall. Had led college and led college with 17 sacks, I think, this year. I think it was 17 sacks. He led the country.
Led the league, and he was second in the league. He was tied for second in the league last year. Like, how do you not give a guy a contract?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, man. Mike Green, he's explosive. He can bend the corner with the best of them. I just feel like this whole Bengals defense need a boost, and let's just start in the trenches. Let's just go get us another guy to get out the quarterback. Because once again, in the AFC North, you got to chase Burke, you got to chase Lamar, you got to chase whoever Cleveland's quarterback, and you got to chase possibly somebody here at 21 as well when we get to that point. So I mean, yeah, you always want to chase the quarterback, and plus you're in the AFC, so the superhumans are over there anyway. So got to get out.
How much of a risk is it that you're taking guys that has had some trouble, like, because Mike Green has had some legal troubles. I believe it was I don't want to say what it is. I know what it is, but
Right.
Not just speaking on Mike Green, but just any prospect in general. We talked about Kansas City like not too long ago.
Right. Like I said, it all depends on what foundation or what plan you have for this person when they get in your building. You got to understand the situation. You got to understand, hey, he had a problem with this, or he had this come up when he was in college. What support? How you going to support the person on the field, and most importantly, off the field? There's going to be programs they can get into, or is there a savvy vet that may be gone through something like they've been through as rookies or in college that can show him, hey, this is how I bounced back and got this tarnish off my name. So it's just a support system and going to the right organization, and the organization understanding what they're dealing with, and how can we not only make this guy, this football player, the best player for the Cincinnati Bengals or whoever the franchise is, but also how can he be a great leader in the community? Because that's mostly what it's all about. You want to be a pillar in the community, wherever city you go to, and having a plan for him, man.
Yeah, definitely like that. Hopefully, Cincinnati will have a plan for him. The defense was pretty bad last year, and not so sure what they're going to do with the leading pass rusher, but we'll see if they go defense in the first round and defense in other picks that they have as well. Moving on to number 18, we got the Seattle Seahawks, and they are selecting Gray Zabel, interior offensive lineman from the North Dakota State. And this pick right here for Seattle is I like it because Seattle, they never really been known for like their offensive line. Like all the years that Russell been there, Russell's always just always running or somewhere on the ass. And what better way than to help out the brand new quarterback that you bought in Sam Darnold than to give him an interior blanket. So I feel like that was a good pick. I think, did you originally pick this?
Yeah, I had picked it, but I forgot that you was Eve. You was Evans. You was like, hold up, yeah.
But nevertheless, I still thought that they would go in this direction. And if you look at like their roster, like the left guard, Christian Hayes, that's it. So you're gonna need some depth back there. You're gonna need some more horses back there. I think this is just the obvious. I think Gray Zabel will go to them or whoever else, but is in that range at 18. But I think this is a good pick for them and what they want to do.
Man, if you look at Gray Zabel for the Seahawks is great in my opinion as well, because Geno Smith, he got sacked 53 times last year. Think about it. You got sacked 53 times last year, and you still threw for 4,000 yards. Just imagine if you cut those sacks in half, what you could be doing.
Right.
So I think that hurt Seattle a little bit. But if you look at the board or look at from pick 12 to pick 12 to 18, any one of those teams right there could be, be in a great labor market. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
he can come off the board before 18. I can definitely see it. But I think we also need settle for him being at you settle for him being at 18. But his range is from 12 to 18. So I mean, but kudos to Seattle for getting a guy that's position versatile. He can go out and play some tackle for you in the pinch. He can come play center, interior. So I mean, yeah, man, you just got a Swiss Army knife on the line. You got some flexibility now to get your best five out there on the field on Sundays.
and he played at North Dakota State, as we said, FCS school, but North Dakota State has proven that they can produce talent up there too. So
Don't y'all got a guy that's from? No, it's not
Quinn
Tulane.
Miners. No. Miners went to Wisconsin.
Whitewater or something like that.
Whitewater. There you go.
Yeah.
But it is somebody in the league from there.
I can't think of his name. Oh, is it Cody Mock? Maybe.
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah, we'll look it up. But yeah, somebody they do produce NFL talent on the offensive line for sure though. So Christian Ross is he's there. So
I mean, it's so cold up there, with the number 19 pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock, and Tampa Bay goes with linebacker Jahad Campbell. I like this pick.
Yeah, man. I just didn't know what direction that Tampa Bay could go. Besides linebacker, what's my man name? I can't think of his name right now. The middle linebacker there. He's been there forever. He's not going to be.
Not Devin White, but
it ain't ringing a bell right now. But you know who
I know
I'm saying.
who you're talking about.
Yeah. He's been there for forever out of Nebraska. So I went with Jahad Campbell just to give some youth to that linebacker room. I can see them going wide receiver here. I had I could have mocked Luther Burden here as well. I wouldn't have been upset if I had took Luther Burden, but I ultimately went with Jahad Campbell because of the youth. He has a little pass rush to his game. He can get out the quarterback, on third downs. He can drop into coverage. He's a beast, man. He's a Swiss Army knife. So that was my pick, at 19 with Tampa Bay.
And then, so I was wrong. So Devin White is not on that team.
Devin White's with us.
Levante David.
Levante David, yes, sir. That's his name.
So Levante David, J.J. Russell. You got Deion Jones, who's the vet. Anthony Walker Jr. Go ahead and give me that guy right there from Tampa Bay. At number 20. You know who's at number 20? I got the Denver Broncos selecting Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State, and it is much needed for a team that did not have a receiver to separate. We need speed. We need speed, and more speed. And originally, my pick was going with the defensive tackle from Oregon, Derek Harmon, because the Broncos are one of those teams that can pretty much go different directions as well. They can move up, they can move back, they can go defensive tackle, which for the past couple of seasons been bad. They've been horrible against the run, so that's definitely a direction that they can go in. But I chose Emeka Egbuka, speedy, runs good routes. I mean, separate. We need that. And Sean Payton, he loves his weapons. I feel like he would be a great addition to what Denver is building over there.
Yeah, I like this pick for you guys as well. I like the Derek Harmon pick as well. So, I mean, you couldn't go wrong with either one. But like you said, in the AFC West, you got to put up points. And Emeka Egbuka, he showed what he can do on his championship run that they had this year. He's in that JSN mode for me. We know how good JSN was when he was in college, and I think Ibuka, he can separate. He know how to set his corners up. He doesn't tip off weight if he's breaking at a 7 or he's breaking at 10. Everything looks the same, and I think that's something that Bo Nix will and Sean Payton will value going into Denver is hey, yeah, we got Cortland Sutton out there, we got Evan Ingram, now we got Emeka Ibuka's out too right now. That's not a bad little trio to trot out there on Sunday to give Bo Nix something to play with. He can pick his poison now.
And don't forget about Marvin Mims over there. You can use Marvin Mims in misdirections and jet sweeps and all that other type stuff too. So I like this. I'm come on, man, make me proud.
Now I need y'all to take another lineman or something right here. I mean, but hey, that's just me being a hater right now. So
going in number 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are selecting Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. The graphics are good, by the way. Made by your boy, but this is a very interesting pick. And while we were doing our mock yesterday, I said, man, it's surprising that Shedeur hasn't got picked yet. And then here you come with the next pick, Shedeur Sanders. I kind of feel like we was gonna go in that direction anyway. It just seems so perfect. Yeah, they don't have that quarterback there, but go ahead.
Yeah, man, like you said, man, it was just chalk right here. They floated with Aaron Rodgers, they floated with Russell Wilson, flirted with Aaron Rodgers, and they struck out. Justin Fields, he had him to a 4-2 record before things bottomed out. Do you want to start game 1, September, whatever it may be, just try Mason Rudolph out there? Not say Mason Rudolph not a service quarterback. He's a service backup for sure. But do you really want to trot Mason Rudolph out there? Excuse me, I can't talk tonight. So I went with Shedeur Sanders here. I just see the slide stopping right here. He's going to be in the green room tomorrow. No, he's not going to be in the green room. He's going to be with his family tomorrow night. I think it's where the slide stops. Yeah, man. Mike Tomlin. I think he loves Shedeur, or done his homework to where he's comfortable enough to take him. Like I said, Shedeur, he has a little. Excuse me if I say that, I might offend somebody, but I know Mel Kiper said this a few months ago, and I agree with him. He has a little Joe Breeze in this game, and for y'all blast me, I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow. I promise you, I'm not. But he has a little bit of Joe Burrow in his game. He's accurate with the ball. He's not the most athletic, quarterback, and this league is trending towards quarterbacks that can move. He can move. He can move the chains. Put it like that. He can extend drive. He plays the game up here, and you can just see that when he was in Colorado the past 2 years, and in Jackson State with his OCs and Pat Shermer that has NFL experience. He's called NFL games. So he's a cerebral assassin. Everybody questioned his arm strength or whatever the case may be, but Drew Brees, he all-time leading passer with however many yards, and he didn't have a Josh Allen arm. He knew where to put the ball, and he knew where the ball had to be, and he put just enough on it to make plays. Tom Brady, 7-time Super Bowl MVP, he don't have the strongest arm. He played the game from up here. Oh, and by the way, guess who Shedeur's mentor is? Yes. So it's like he's been getting that good coaching from day one.
Pat Shermer, a former NFL coach, offensive coordinator. So he's got all kind of NFL experience around there. You got 2 dynamic weapons out there. Granted that I don't see one of those guys that haven't got paid yet. I don't see him there at the beginning of the season.
Jordan Schultz put out that Pickens could be shopped around tomorrow night as well, and we talked about that we talked about that offline a couple weeks ago. I was like, there is no way that DK and Pickens are going to be in the same wide receiver room. But yeah, Schultz put something out about right before we went on air that they could be taking calls for Pickens tomorrow. And you know that screenshot I sent you, and you was like, man, that don't mean nothing. Obviously, it meant something. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I'm saying, hey, don't be surprised if you see him at some point. I'm just saying, hey, but yeah, man, it's Shador with the two weapons right now. Pat Freiermuth in the middle of the field, solid tight end. You know, Jalen Warren. Yeah, Najee Harris. He went to LA this year, but I feel like enough is there for Shador to thrive in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? Pittsburgh, they were hey man, they had struggles finishing, the backstretch of the season. Yes, they could go defense here, but it just makes too much sense to me.
One thing that I'm concerned about is if you pick Shador Sanders and say Mike Tomlin is not there next year. Let's face it, he on the hot seat, man. His seat might not be steaming hot, but eventually those winning seasons, those however many straight winning seasons that goes out the door after a while when you can't even win a playoff game.
But yeah, man, but don't you think he's earned that right though? Like he think about it, man. He really hasn't had his guy since Big Ben.
Whose fault is that though?
I understand his fault. I understand that it's his fault.
But it's not like he hasn't swung. I mean, Kenny Pickett, yeah, that was in a draft where you didn't have a whole lot of quarterbacks to choose from.
Right.
I mean, you needed. I'm pretty sure whoever else they swung at. Justin Fields,
Russell Wilson.
Russell.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I know how you feel about Russ, man. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, sometimes you gotta swing, man. You gotta keep swinging. Look at us. We've been swinging since what? God knows 2016 when Carr broke his leg. He ain't been right since. So you gotta swing it. Yeah, we got a Band-Aid in Geno, but you got to throw something to something stick. So that's why I say Shador makes the most sense right here. I just don't see him sliding past Pittsburgh. I feel like Tomlin could get the best out of Shador. Yeah, man. 21 overall.
And then with Arthur Smith still there, I don't know how that is going to work, being that he's more of a run first guy. He lives and dies by the run of that system. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see what happens if Shador Sanders is selected to Pittsburgh tomorrow night. The next pick that we got is the LA Chargers, and they're on the clock. I got the LA Chargers selecting defensive tackle Kenneth Grant from Michigan at 22, reuniting him with his head coach, Jim Harbaugh. I like this. I like this pick for the Chargers simply because if you look at what they have at nose tackle, Teair Tart, Naquan Jones, Deshaun Hand, and Scott Matlock. Like, you need all the depth that you can at that position. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to do the right thing by drafting his former defensive tackle. It's marriage made in heaven right there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, Harbaugh guy. He's played under Harbaugh. His program. Trenches. Harbaugh's he went with Joe Alt last year.
He already know. He already know what to get into.
Exactly. That's why I say this is a great pick. Kenneth Grant he's not Mason Graham. He's not, your sexy flash pick or whatever, But when you put that thing on and put that tape on, he chasing dudes 20 yards down the field as a big boy, 300 plus pounds. Yes. And that's what Harbaugh, he likes that effort, hard work. and that's the overall team guy. And like I said, he's been a part of the Michigan program. He knows what Harbaugh wants. He knows what he expects. This makes too much sense for me.
When I was making the pick for the Broncos, I'm like Kenneth Grant or Derek Harmon. Derek Harmon's a little faster, a little bit more leaner, but I'm like Kenneth Grant brings that girth too. Both of them have girth, but I juggled with it for so long. I ended up going with Derek Harmon, but I ended up changing my pick. But in this spot right here, uh, you can't fault him for either way to go. But I think this right here by Kenneth Grant playing under Harbaugh so much, this, like you said, great pick. Doesn't get any better than that. Going to number 23, Green Bay Packers are on the clock. And I actually like this pick. Cornerback Maxwell Harrison at 23 from Kentucky going to the Packers. I like this one.
Yeah,
I like
man.
this pick.
Yeah, I think that was one of my. He's my sleeper. Hey, I'm gonna be back into the first round. Some people had him in the second round, but I have him as first round grade. He can play outside. He can play in the slot. He's fast. He gonna creep up on you. You know what I'm saying? You giving him give him some cushion. Yeah, he gonna definitely be in your hip for sure. And just think about it, man. Jair Alexander, man, he's not probably not going to be in a Packers uniform after this weekend. He could be on the move tomorrow. So yeah, you wanna replace Jair, and I think Maxwell Harrison at this point in the draft makes more sense. Yes, I could have went with Azariah Thomas here as well, but I think Maxwell Harrison. I think he's more of Green Bay's type of corner, if that makes sense.
And it just makes sense. Like you said, Jair Alexander could be gone this weekend. After that, Carrington, Valentine, Kamal Hayden, Nate Hobbs on the other side. You know him. Javon Bullard. Like, it just doesn't look that interesting to me. And this pick right here is a great pick. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was spot on with this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Going to number 24, the Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. And we got another DB. We got another DB coming. Malachi Starks from Georgia going to the Vikings.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna kick this one off. This is a good one as well. Because if he won't go in here, I can definitely see him in the Eagles uniform. I can definitely see it, and that would not be good for the rest of the NFC East. But go ahead, I'm not gonna stay this your guy. I'm gonna let you explain why you picked Malachi Starks for the Vikings.
So Theo Jackson at the free safety spot, and then Harrison Smith, who is probably in his last year. He's flirting with retirement. I think he just came back. I think he struggled with coming back for a minute. Like he contemplated. So I think this is the perfect spot for him. For Malachi Starks to come in, very experienced, won national championships. So he's got plenty of ball under his belt. For what Minnesota is building in that 3-4 with Brian. What's my man name?
Brian Flores.
Brian Flores. Why am I blanking on folks' names? But Brian Flores and what he's able to do, I think Malachi Starks, you plug him in, gold. I love it, especially when you playing teams like Detroit's and the Chicago, who I think is going to, and then Green Bay. Like you're gonna need your horses back on the back end too.
Yeah, for sure, man. I can definitely see Malachi fitting in with this. Think about it, man. Like this would be if Malachi goes here to the Vikings at 24. This would be the second safety that Minnesota has picked in the last 3-4 years from Georgia. So they picked Lewis Seen a couple of years ago at the end of the first round, but he didn't pan out. I think he's somewhere else now. But yeah, man. They have a thing for picking safeties at Georgia for sure. I guess, and it's coming to trend. So Yeah, man. I like. You can play him up high. You can play him on the roof. You can play him in the slot. He's a physical. He's gonna come up and hit you. He's gonna tackle you. He's gonna fight through the rubbish to get through screens. Yeah, I like Malachi Starks. Everybody had him as a top 10 player before this draft cycle started off, but the league doesn't value safeties that high like they used to. Not like when we had Egg Berries and Sean Taylors and stuff like that. But yeah, man, Malachi's one of the ones, man, that I can definitely see him landing with Brian Flores at 24, being in a good spot. I can see him going before this as well. So I think 24 is a sweet spot, and I think it's a great pickup for the Vikings to help bolster that secondary for sure.
For sure. Going at number 25, the Houston Texans on the clock. And this is a team that has they had a few offensive line transactions, had traded Laramie Tunsil, traded another offensive lineman too. So with the 25th pick in the 2025 NFL mock draft, Houston Texans are selecting offensive guard Tyler Booker from Alabama. And I understand this pick. I love the pick, considering I don't know exactly how many times CJ done got knocked on his butt, but I know it was a lot compared to his first year, and he's going to need all of the protection that he can get.
Yes, sir. Yeah, with this pick, it was you got Shaq Mason, Titus Howard, Laramie Tunsil. I don't think but two of those original to start are there now. I could be wrong. So I went with Tyler Booker here to give CJ some interior, some support. I also juggle between Booker and Josh Connolly as well as an offensive tackle to replace Laramie Tunsil. So, but ultimately I went with the Alabama guy because there's another guy that we didn't get in the first round that I could have put here as well, but Bama's they always produce great players. I just don't want to be another Alex Leatherwood situation. We're not going to talk about that, but I don't think that's going to happen here. So yeah, man, I just went with Tyler Booker here, and we just give CJ some protection so he can stand upright and be like he was 2 years ago.
I love it. We'll see what happens with that pick. I feel like that's going to be spot on. That's going to be a pick that's going to actually happen right there. So everybody that's looking, make sure you paying attention to the picks and seeing if we got them right or wrong. So going with the number 26 pick, this is a surprise right here. The Los Angeles Rams select running back Travion Henderson. And I know some people will be like, they got Kyron Williams, but look, Sean McVay is a winner, man, and he drafts well, he scouts well. This right here, like the Rams are already kind of like one of those top teams already. You take this guy and you put him in a running back room with Kyron Williams, and then you got that speedy dude back there. I'm telling you, Rams are going far. And I just like this. Every once in a while, teams are you be like, why did they pick him? Like, wait till you see it on the field.
Yeah. This pick right here, I didn't like this pick. I didn't like this one. I would have loved to see you go corner here to give that help out that pass rush. Like I said, this point Azariah Thomas could have came off of me. But I definitely would have went corner with the Rams, but I understand the Travion Henderson pick. They saved three, four running backs going in the first round. So this could be a spot, with Sean McVay can have his little gadget guy. He's more than a gadget guy, but he can make some noise. And once you get in the open field, you're not catching him. I don't care who you are.
But you see the vision.
I see. I understand what you're doing. I understand it. It's just that they missed out on Brock Bowers last year, and that was reported to be true. They tried to get Brock Bowers, so I can definitely see them taking the tight end here, whether that's Mason Taylor, but ultimately you end up dressing Travion Henderson on the side of the ball, which I'm saying I don't blame you because he's first round worthy to me at the back end. So I mean, if he's going to go in the first round out of all these teams right here, that makes the most sense to me.
And I know a lot of mocks have him going to Denver possibly. At first, I'm like, I'm not so sure. If that was to still happen, I'm still not so sure, but I wouldn't be mad at it either.
Sure.
Going to number 27, the Baltimore Ravens select defensive end James Pierce Jr. They always seem to be getting that edge rusher or that defensive end, and I think he fits what Baltimore is all about. And you made this pick right here. Would you tell me about it?
Yeah, man. I think it's just where you're at in this point of draft. The Ravens they always hit on their late first round picks, man. They always hit. You know,
Always.
Zay Jones, Lamar Jackson. It don't matter who they pick at the end of the first round. They always hit. They always contribute quick. And I think him being a pass rusher, I can see him over 3-4 pass rusher, 3-4 outside linebacker. Him in a 2 point stance, explosiveness, quickness. He can pressures out the world. He ran a what 4.5 at the combine with a hoodie on. He didn't even have his daggone his whatever they wear now. He had a hoodie on and ran a 4.5. And then that's a little heavier than a shirt, but still explosive.
Crazy.
Yeah, explosive, and just feels like a he just feels like a Raven to me, if that makes sense. I just
Mhm.
he feels like a Raven. So yeah, I mean I know um, some of the Ravens probably want to go in another direction, but the pass rusher that they have now, my guy out of I think that is Van Noy there in Baltimore now.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, Van Noy. He's been in the league for a while.
Still playing at a high level.
My guy out of Michigan. I can't think of his name right now. He tore his Achilles a couple years ago. He
Owe?
had Adafe always from Penn State, the one that's behind him.
Oh,
I can't think of his name right now, but he tore his Achilles a few years ago, and he hasn't really worked out like that. So yeah, man, let's put somebody across some Owe and let's get after the quarterback, man. That's why I'm going with James Pierce for the Ravens here at number 27.
I love it. Character issues, but when you put him, like you said, and one thing you did say, which I agree 100%, he seems like a Raven type of player. And it just seems like once they get those guys in the building, not saying every guy was troublesome or whatever, but it seems like when you get those guys in those buildings, they're locked in they're, Harbaugh has his way of doing things. And hey, I like it, man. I like the pick. At number 28, we are breezing through this thing here. At number 28, Detroit Lions select Donovan Ezeraku, defensive end out of Boston College. I think he was more in a 3-4, and Detroit runs a 4-3. So, but I mean, with coaching, and I think that they can be able to make this work. We got Aiden Hutchinson on one side, who missed a good portion of last year when he played like 5 games. He missed the rest of the season on that. On the other side, you got Josh Pascal. I know they signed Marcus Davenport last all season, but you're gonna want something fresh up in there as well. And Detroit, not the best pass rushing team, and I think this with a young freak like him, I think that they can be very dangerous. especially on that what they already have on the offensive side of the ball. Need to get better on the defensive side of the ball. Need to get younger. 13 guys on IR last year was crazy. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they went majority defense in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I wouldn't be surprised as well, man. You got to give Aiden Hutchinson, a Michigan guy. What's the theme of this draft, man? Michigan man is all up and down this daggone board, man. It's just something that makes me go. I don't know what it is, but if you get a Michigan guy in the first round, you're gonna have a good chance of being a good football team. I don't know where that come from, but I'm just yeah, man. You put as a Raku on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson, so he can won't get double teamed, and because he was a one man. One game he played last year, he had like 4 sacks in the first quarter. He was like a one man show with no help. And I know they got
Crazy.
Zadarius Smith over to help them during the trade deadline, but he's not a long term answer for them right there. So yeah, I like this pick as a Raku from Boston College, at number 28. And hey man, I like he's probably my second favorite pass rusher in this draft behind what's my boy name here? What Abdul Carter. He's probably my second favorite one, technically wise. His bag is deep. Yes, he might not be the greatest running defender, but been in that corner, yeah,
Oh yeah,
he's like that.
and he come with that power too. So coming in at number 29, got the Washington Commanders coming in here, fresh off an NFC Championship game that they haven't seen since like early 90s. Washington Commanders select defensive end Nick Scordon from Texas A&M. They need more pass rush on the defensive side of the ball. Tell me about this pick. I like this.
Yeah, man. I was thinking with this pick right here, man. I just looked at the Washington Commanders last year, and everybody was excited about Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin and Zach Ertz and defensive side of the ball. You got Bobby Wagner. He's older, older. Lattimore coming over from in the trade, and I looked at that defensive line. They had Clee Farrell, Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong, and I was like, those are not long term solutions. On that, they got Deron Payne. They lost Jared. My boy Allen. He in Minnesota now, so the defensive line could use a bump. And they really haven't had that guy on the edge since Ryan Kerrigan. So he was the last guy that was coming in that he gonna be a problem on the edge. You gotta with number 91 at. I'm saying? You gotta look for him. And I think he scores and gives you a little bit of that. He's heavy handed, he's powerful. I think he's decent in the run. There's some more he can add to his game, as far as rushing the passer. But at pick 29 at the end of the first round, these boys was mocked, get in the season to go top 10, top 15. So to get him at 29, that's great value to me. And hey, man, another person to get to the quarterback in the NFC East. So man, hey, it was a win-win for me.
I love it, and they need more defensive arsenal over there more than anything. Offensive side of the ball, they got it down pat, especially with the addition of Debo. Now you got to get your defensive side of the ball right. I don't have off the top of my dome of what they've done in free agency as far as defense, but making this move right here definitely puts them in a good position going into next year. Going at number 30, got 2 picks left, and the Buffalo Bills are on the clock. And they're selecting safety Nick Emenwari out of South Carolina. I love this dude, bro. And then you considering what Buffalo has, DeMar Hamlin, Derek Forrest, veterans, Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop, who they drafted last year, I want to say.
Yeah, last year, before last one or two.
Ball hawk, and this guy can run. He can play the run, load the box, whatever you need him to do. I feel like this is just so needy of the Bills, especially when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. Those late game situations when Josh Allen is putting either six or he putting help putting three up, and then now the defensive side of the ball can't stop anybody. So that's how Patrick Mahomes is able to go to the Super Bowls and win all these games. So I think with a player like Nick Emenwari back there, I think this will be a difference maker for them, and it's much needed.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I agree with you. I like the Nick Eamon Ward pick. Bills always had decent safeties. They had Poyer and I think of the other safety name at one time.
I can't think of his name, Jordan Poyer, and
you know what I'm
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But also, like I said, this would help boost their secondary. I can also see Buffalo going Derek Harmon here, Walter Nolan here, to help intercept that interior pass rush. But yeah, man, definitely some on the defensive side of the ball with the Buffalo Bills, and you decide to go safety here. I would not be upset at it. Getting them at 30, wouldn't be mad at all.
And even with some of the picks, the defensive end picks that we made before, and like if you look at Joey Bosa, it sounded like 1 year, 14 million. Do you expect Joey Bosa to be available for 17 games this year? I don't see it. AJ Epineza right behind him. You got Gregory Rousseau. You know what he brings on the other side. So I would not be surprised if they did add a defensive end to this defense. Going at number 31.
This is probably my favorite pick of the draft, knowing who the team I'm picking for. This one might be my favorite pick.
The Kansas City Chiefs at number 31 pick, offensive tackle Josh Simmons from Ohio State. Talk to me, man.
Well, it's obvious, man. Like we seen the game February 9th. We know what went down. We know what was needed. Let's get the best Let's get the best tackle available, and let's try to keep Patrick Mahomes upright for 18 games. Not even about the regular season. It's about the playoffs for them. Who can keep him up in the playoffs, have him running for his life? Simons, yes, he missed most of last year. I think he played 4 games last year towards ACL. All indications to me, to what I've been reading here, that he's fully cleared and good to go. He's in a good spot. So for the Chiefs to get him at 31, that's a steal. Because most consensus, he's a top 2-3 tackle if he's healthy. So he can be up there in that Mimbu, Will Campbell area. I would even almost dare to say if he had a clean bill of health going into this process, he'll probably be right there for New England at 4. I say he'll be right there for New England at 4, but obviously injuries and stuff come in and factor in, and he dip a little bit. But yeah, man, his tape is clean. He's great pass sets. He good in the run game. Plays at Ohio State. He always produce good players on both sides of the ball. So yeah, man, I think this is more about keeping Patrick Mahomes upright in January and February. Well, hopefully just in January, because we don't want to see him in February. No, I don't anyway. Keeping him upright and you took swings last year. You took Joey Salvanilla. If I don't pronounce his name correct, last year you took another tackle in the later rounds a couple of years ago that didn't work out. But it's just time to find a bookend left tackle. I know you had Lando Brown at one point. He moved on to Cincinnati, I believe. Yeah, man. So the Chiefs should be jumping for joy if he's on the pick on the clock at 31. They should double dip, to be honest with you, in the second round as well.
Definitely, like you said, it's a position that it wasn't all that great last year. You need to upgrade. Hey, he's young. He's played several seasons late into the college football season, so he's got the durability, he's got the endurance, got the familiarity with playing in big time games.
Yeah, man. Yeah, big time games, man. And like I said, not from him, barring injury, he could be right here at number 4. Let's think about this, man. We've been doing this for an hour and 45, man. I'm going through the first round that we did. Look at the offensive lineman we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, five, six. We got six offensive linemen. Six offensive. Half the first round is offensive linemen and defensive linemen. If that's not telling you the theme of this year, or what's going to go tomorrow night, or what's most important to these front offices, that should let you know something here, in the future.
Protection and penetration. On the other side of the ball, and offensive line definitely, which has been a developing problem. But as I said earlier, we'll see what happens. The final pick in the 2025 mock NFL draft, Philadelphia Eagles select defensive end Landon Jackson, Arkansas. Yes, you could have went several other different directions, but I watched his tape, and he just it just says Philadelphia Eagle on it, and then you lose Brandon Graham to retirement. Moro Ojomo, that's basically the only end that you have on the roster right now. This guy, he may not start right away. When you make certain picks at the end of the round, starters is not really what you're looking for. You're looking for guys that can back that guy up, production guys, future. Looking for the future. So I think with this guy, Landon Jackson out of Arkansas, I think he's a good fit for what Philadelphia brings each and every year.
Yeah, man. Like I've seen little glimpses of Landon Jackson just watching him throughout the fall last year. He can play, and this reminds me. This is eerie similar to what Howie Roseman did when he got Nolan Smith a couple of years ago. Just sit back there in the round one, waiting for his name to get called. And look at 2 years later, he chasing Mahomes around in the Super Bowl, and Mahomes running for his life. He just sat, was patient. Yeah, he had people in front of him. He had sweat in front of him. I don't know who's Brandon Graham was in front of him. He just waited his turn. And I feel like Howie has a. He needed, when it's all said and done with Howie Roseman, he needs to be studied of like, he's always looking 2-3 years ahead, what my football team may need in 2025. He's looking already, man. So, yeah, man, I like the Landon Jackson pick. I can see it definitely happen. Yeah, man, I think this mock was pretty solid. And I know we're going to talk about here in a minute some of the people that we wanted to get in the first round. I know I got a couple I wanted to get in the first round, but I just couldn't because I wasn't picking for that team. But yeah, man, I think the Eagles pick with Landon Jackson is a solid one to end the first round on night one.
Very solid. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And if anybody noticed these picks and if they're right, then hey, man, give us a old shout out, man. We told you so. But yeah, man, this is great. The first ever NFL mock draft for the platform. As a duo, us doing the tag team champions of the world, man.
Yeah, man. Man. It's been it's interesting, man. It's definitely gonna be fun. I'm already geeked up for tomorrow. So it's 8:10 now. So about this time, Cam Ward will be a Tennessee Titan for sure. Then we'll be texting each other, hey, this person might get picked. And I hope tomorrow that people stay off Twitter, man. Just don't tip picks, man, because it just don't hit the same when folks are here tipping picks, man. Like it don't hit different like seeing it live. Like last year with my team, bro, I didn't even know Brock Bowers was an option. You know what I mean? I didn't like go to Twitter and look. I was like, Brock Bowers. I was like, I never seen that coming. But yeah, man, I'm excited for all these players tomorrow. Their dreams coming true. Something they've been working on since they were playing Pee Wee football. 8, 9 years old playing Pee Wee football to actually live out their dream. And there was a couple players in here that I wanted to fit in. I wanted to fit Matthew Golden in. I wanted to fit him in, and probably at Houston, but I felt like the bigger need was that offensive line for Houston. I wanted to fit him in. I wanted to fit Jalen Milroe in a trade. I thought about hitting you up for a trade, yesterday to get in to get Jalen Milroe. But you know who I was gonna put him on if I was gonna ask for a trade though. Yeah, this is two of them I wanted to get in there in the first round.
I feel like next year, once once this breezes by, next year we'll have more of like a trade type of draft.
Yeah,
I mean, it still will be kind of confusing because like we don't know what's going to happen, but it's all based on what we think will happen and what team you feel like would trade. So I feel like next year we can be a little bit more authentic with that. Like we was just kind of like pushing this out, and I think we did a good job with it, man.
Yeah, man. I think from the time we've been talking to each other, man, we just been going back and forth, boom, 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 boom. You here, you there. It just felt natural, man. Like we probably been thinking these picks before we even thought about this idea anyway. Yeah. It was like, man, let's go ahead and put it out here. Let's see what the public may think, man. But yeah, man, it's here now, man. It's here. Everybody's football team gonna be roster's gonna be better tomorrow, going into the weekend, man. Just gonna see what team put it together.
Yeah. So I can't wait to get off and read the comments and see what we got in the comment section. Appreciate everybody for commenting, liking, sharing. Tomorrow night is very big. Friday, are we going to give a review for the first round?
Yes.
You down with it? I'm down with it. Friday, we'll give you a rundown of what we think of the first round, what we liked, what we didn't like. Yeah, this has been fun. It's always fun doing the stream with you, man. And any final thoughts?
Man, I'm just ready for tomorrow. All the suspense and hey, smoke screens and yada yada yada. This person going here. It's all gonna be settled here in the next 24 hours, man. I can sleep a little bit after the fact, knowing that hey, the Raiders got better on the offensive line or either in the backfield or either on the defense side of the ball. Who knows? Hope the Broncos take a quarterback tomorrow at pick 20, and they beat out Bo Nix tomorrow. But yeah, man, it's interesting to see what the league. I'm more anxious to see what the league thinks about this cycle of players. What's the strength of this class and what's the weakness of this class? And I'm interested to see where Miro goes. Do we get Tyler Shook get traded back in the first round, and where Shador slides? Because we all and where Dart goes. Sorry, that's 4. We all know where Cam is going. How many quarterbacks do we get? What does Vegas think? How many running backs goes in the first round? What does Vegas think? Do we just get Tet? Do we just get Matthew Golden? Do we sneak a Buka in the first round? How many safeties is going? Is Nick Eamon Ward going in the first round? Is Malachi Starks going in the first round? You know what I mean? Who wants to get that 5th-year option on the quarterbacks? If Shador slides and Travis Hunter goes to Cleveland at 2, does Joe Barry itch up and say, "Hey, Atlanta, do you want me? Can I get the 15 to get Shador, and I give you this, and I give you a troll chest?" So it's all gonna be fascinating to see tomorrow how it's gonna play out. I want to see the young men smile in the green room, celebrate with their families, because yes, tomorrow is about the players. The weekend. I shouldn't say tomorrow because the draft is more than one round. This whole Thursday, Friday, Saturday is, about the players, but it's also about the people in those kids' lives that's, been with them, taking them to games, making sure they get their physicals for high school, showing them to their high school football games, talking to them through college, when they be having rough days. It's a celebration for not only the player, but the people involved that's behind the player that make that player who they are today, whether it be their grandmother, their dad, their mom, uncles, or whatever the case may be. So it's a big celebration for everybody in the green room and throughout the weekend for sure.
It's Christmas, man. It's Christmas for fans like me and you and and everybody else that's celebrating this like it's a national holiday.
Yeah,
It
man.
should
It's
be.
like I'm a nerd, man. Like it's so weird, man. Like it's like I'm like nerded out. Like I don't get nerded out about a whole lot of things, but like I get nerded out because you can ask my boys, Taki and George, man. They be sick of me in the group chat. They be like, "Yo, chill out, bro. You still got 48 hours left." I'm going through scenarios. I'm going through scenarios with you. Hey, George, what you think I'm going with that? What Dallas gonna do? He arguing with me. I'm like, I'm just nerded out, bro. They be like, chill out, bro. Just get through the workday first and think about this stuff. It's real bad, man. But yeah, man, I'm nerded out and I'm excited,
Hey man, tomorrow's big day. We'll see what the action, all the action will unfold. See what happens. Friday, we got the first round recap, and we'll bring that to you probably before the second and third round kick off. So, on behalf of Amon Washington, thank you again, sir. Um, I'm Larry Patterson, Game Time Sports Network. This has been the first annual mock draft.
man. Yes, sir.
Until then.